What is up, Facebook Live? You've caught me in my hoodie. I'm ready for bed. I promised you I'd be on consistently every day, so I'm jumping on right before bed. I just got done reviewing my presentation for tomorrow. My wife is sleeping, so I'm going to whisper. But it's midnight here. We're getting ready for bed, and we got to be up at 6 to work out, get ready, and get everything prepped for the presentation tomorrow for the event we're here at. We have a couple, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So welcome. As you're tuning in, I'd love to know 3 things you're grateful for and where you're tuning in from. Tonight we're going to talk really quickly, just for probably 10-15 minutes, but it's a really important topic. And we're going to talk really simply. Welcome, everyone. Timothy, nice to see you. Welcome. Love to know where you're tuning in from and 3 things you're grateful for, as always, to reinforce those automatic positive thoughts. Sorry if I look tired. It's bedtime here. It's midnight, and it's been a long day of awesomeness over here in Abu Dhabi. So to dive right in, Stuart, happy birthday. Oh, thank you, sir. To dive right in, I'd love to know 3 things you're grateful for and where you're tuning in from. Feel free to type it in right there in the comment section below this video. We're going to start off with, I'm going to do these a little out of order, but how long does it take to get good at something? How do you know what skills you need to really have the life you want? Currently in Abu Dhabi, sir. So how long does it take to really get great at something? What skills do you really need, and when should you start? So this was inspired by a friend whose name is Eli Wilhide. I was watching a video he was posting earlier today, and he's been posting a lot of videos. And he was describing why he's been posting so many videos and why he was in front of a green screen. And what's really interesting is, as he was doing this, he described the fact that he wanted to get really good at making videos. And over the years, he's done hundreds, if not probably 1,000 plus or 2,000 plus presentations in front of people. So he's really good at getting in front of a group of people and delivering a powerful presentation live. And he was talking to a friend, and he said, I really want to get good at doing it via video so I could reach even more people around the world constantly. And his friend gave him a rule. He said, pretty much the first 100 attempts you're going to do aren't going to turn out the way you want. You're going to ramble, you're going to get off topic, you're going to get frustrated, you're not going to look the way you want, and you have to practice at least 100 times before you're even decent. And it's a really interesting topic. I remember a long time ago when I first started doing presentations and going office to office and doing sales presentations and performance workshops for these companies. I sat down with my dad, who's obviously been speaking for 37, 38 years now. And I asked him, how long, I look like a little Tony Robbins. Well, he's my dad, so I'm guessing the DNA is probably in me. Thank you for noticing, though. So here's the thought. I sat down with Dad, I said, how long does it take to get good at this? I really want to be world-class at going out office to office, doing a powerful workshop, and inspiring people to want to take action and move forward with their life. How long does it take to get good? And I remember he looked at me and he thought about it for a second. I'm like, is it like 6 months on average? Is it 10,000 hours? Is it 2 years? Like, what is it that causes someone to really, truly get great at this? And I remember talking to him. And what was interesting, Vlad, thank you so much. Well, I hope to be in Kev too soon. So what was really interesting is he responded back and he says, it takes as long as you want it to. And I remember thinking about being like, that's not a very specific answer. As long as I want it to. Well, I want to be great at this now. And I was like, but that's not reality. I can't just say I want to be great at speaking in front of people and instantaneously I'm great at speaking in front of people. And I didn't really understand what he meant. But going back to what Eli's doing, if you look at that concept of if you're willing to put in the first 100 attempts and then compare it to what Dad said of it takes as long as you want it to, you could do the first 100 attempts in a week if you were just crazy and went after it. That's 100 hours of presenting. You could get it done in 7 days if you really, really wanted to. That's a lot of presenting, and your voice would probably be gone after day 2, but you could do it. It's possible. You could do it in a month. You could do it in a year, or you could do it in 10 years. You could do it in a lifetime, to add up to 100 total presentations. And what he told me, he said the average speaker, if you go hang out with them and watch how many times a year they get booked maybe 5, 10, 20 if they're really good, 30 if they're exceptional times a year. So he said, if it's going to take 100 just to become decent, and then dozens, if not thousands, to get more just to get to a place where you're really exceptional, it could take as long as you want. And I asked him, I said, well, what did you do? And he said, I did what you're about to do. He said, I took a job that gave me the skill sets I wanted later in life. He wanted to be able to stand up in front of people and influence them to have a better life. He wanted to be able to get through to people by, standing in front of a way and really, truly making a difference. Didn't your dad day that he would present every day in empty rooms when he started? So, Bill, that's a great question. It wasn't empty rooms, hopefully. There's a person or two back in the day. But here's what he did, and this is the advice he gave me, and it's what I actually did for 2 years, is over a 2-year period of time, he went out, Bill, and did exactly that. He said, if I want to get good at this, I'm going to have to do it. If most people do 10 presentations a month, I want to do 10 presentations a day. That way I can get a month's worth of experience every day. And if I can do it back to back to back to back to back to back to back, pretty soon I'm getting, in 30 days, I have 30 months worth of experience because I'm getting that much more effort and that much more time and that much more investment into this. So I'm really getting the return faster than anybody else as long as I'm constantly measuring and improving. So if using this analogy comes into your life, I'm curious where you want to improve most. What is it about your life? Do you want to get better at your health? Do you want to get better at a skill set for your career? Do you want to become a better parent? Do you want to become, a better meditator? I don't know what you're after. Do you want to become better with your finances? Do you want to become better at some, sport you play? Whatever it is you want, your relationships. Now, whatever it is that you'd like to get better at, here's a really, really interesting and simple thought. The place to start is saying, first off, if it was a career, in my case it was, I wanted to get good at standing up in front of groups and presenting, which kind of ironic. I just spent the last little time here preparing for tomorrow's presentations, and I wanted to get really good at that. And he said, well, if you want to get good at it, it takes as long as you want it to, but you have to be willing to do the work and repetition again and again and again and again and again. So I signed up for a job. I landed up, getting hired. It didn't turn out well the first time. I didn't study as hard as I should have, so I got hired the second round when I interviewed with him, and I got the job at Dad's company. And I went out and presented on average 4 to 7 times a day. Sometimes on the weekend it would drop down to 2, but on average 4 to 7 times a day usually for 2 years. It got right up to about roughly 900 presentations, almost 1,000 presentations in 2 years. Now, what's fun about that is after doing nearly 1,000 presentations in front of groups, I saw just about everything. I think one of my favorite moments that ever happened, I was doing a presentation for a group of entrepreneurs at a person's house in Florida. Their kids were home doing circles around this little pillar in their living room, and what they were doing is running up and down the halls and then jumping on a boogie board and going sliding down the hall. And then at one point they decided to come sliding towards us. So I'm in the middle of a presentation, a really important part, and this kid comes sliding on a boogie board right behind me, smacks into the legs of my dry erase board, my little flip chart I was using, and boom, the flip chart goes, the dry erase board goes flying. I caught it in the air, the stand, leg breaks, and everyone's laughing. And instead of stopping and going, oh my gosh, what happened, and freaking out and getting mad at the kid and all this other stuff, I just kept going. I held the board the rest of the time and just kept drawing examples and talking straight through it. And what's interesting is, in the beginning, if that would have happened, I would have been done for. I would have lost my place. I would have been thinking about, oh my God, I wonder what these people are thinking. They can't pay attention now. I just lost them. And the whole thought process would have been about me or what I'm experiencing, or the fact that I lost my spot or any of these other things. What's interesting is over time, you realize that you know the information that you're going to be sharing so freaking well. You don't have to think about it. You could say it in your freaking sleep. You could say it backwards if you wanted to. And you know it that well, so that when all that craziness is happening, you're not inside of yourself. You're 100% in the audience, watching how they're reacting and making sure you're tailoring every sound, every thought, every moment, every word to ensure that they're still engaged. And to take it to a whole nother level, specifically with speaking, you get to a point where you create an environment that no matter what happens in that environment, you make time stand still for the people who are standing and sitting right around you. Literally, time disappears, they disappear, and nothing else matters. It literally, like an instant, an hour goes by and they didn't even realize it. And when you're able to create that from that presentation piece, you become a really, really powerful influencer, because it's like going to a great movie. They literally disappear into the moment with you, and it's remarkable the fact that it opens up, and you can have life-transforming experience in that moment. That's just an example I went through to learn how to become a great presenter, which I'm going to present here in Abu Dhabi tomorrow to a couple different conventions they have going on. And I just thought it was timely. Going back to my friend Eli, he wants to get good at doing video presentation. So he's doing literally a video just like this every single day, again and again and again and again. He's working to get through his first 100 as fast as possible so that he can at least be decent in his words, and then eventually wants to get exceptional at it by continuing to just do it again and again and again. So my first question to you for tonight is, what in your life do you want to really improve at? And second, how long is it going to take you to get the first 100 repetitions in? Now, some people may throw, and I've had people throw this at me, like, what if I want to buy and sell businesses? How am I going to go buy and sell all 100 businesses? How long is that going to take? Go back to Dad's comment, as long as you want it to. I'm sure there's someone out there who's done it. Maybe it has to be, I don't know, maybe you have to get creative in how to do it. Maybe there's not 100 businesses for sale that you're interested in. So maybe you have to go buy micro businesses, or maybe you have to go find a creative way to go about that process, and maybe something that's like it or similar to it. Maybe you get creative and a little flexible, and you say, hey, instead of buying the physical business and all the assets that takes 6 months or a year or 2 years at a time to do this, maybe I just buy the stocks of the business for right now, and I buy 100 businesses and see how well I can do in picking the right ones. So it's up to you. You can get really creative, but in that concept of putting in those first 100 repetitions, what is it you really want to improve on? How much time, effort, and energy are you going to dedicate to those first 100 repetitions to really get to an average or ordinary level? And then what are you willing to invest to get to an exceptional level? Are you willing to keep going again and again and again and again and again until you're totally exceptional at whatever it is you're focused on? The second part is, based on how you'd want to improve your life, if there's certain skill sets that will better prepare you for the future you desire. So for me, I desired a future where I got to travel around the world and help people. And so here's what was interesting, was in wanting to travel around the world and help people, I knew public speaking was going to be really important. Therefore, that's why I chose that job, because I believed the ability to stand up in front of a group of people and deliver with excellence again and again and again and again and again and be really effective at it would make a big difference in my future. So I was willing to invest at least a couple years to practice that skill almost 900, 1,000 times in 2 years, so that I knew I had it from that point on in the future. And it served me very, very well to be able to show what we do, help more people, get up in front of groups, do stuff like this. It's really paid off. There was also, coaching skills that I thought if I could help someone one-on-one, that'd make a big difference in my future. So I learned how to do that, got trained, went through all of that. So that's the whole thought process, is what skill sets do you believe will help build into the future you really desire, and where can you go, or what can you do, or who can you partner with, or what can you go be a part of to start learning those skills and practicing those skills, at least at the level to get the first 100 repetitions in. And final question, when are you going to start? I mean, you could put in the first 100 repetitions 10 years from now. You can put in the first 100 repetitions a decade from now, 20 years from now, a couple decades. Or you could start right now, today, and start putting in those repetitions. You could put repetition number 1 in today if you really want to. So 3 questions. What do you want to get better at? Or what do you feel you need skill set wise to be prepared fully for the future you desire? 2, what 100 repetitions do you need to do to become decent at it, to get the momentum moving in the direction and really be, set the foundation for yourself? And 3, when are you going to choose to get started? So those are the 3 questions. I'm going to answer a couple questions that popped up here real quick, and then I am headed for bed because I only have about 6 hours of sleep left that I have to savor and jump into. Let's see. Did you visit? Yes, we went to the mosque today. It was beautiful. If you check out our Instagram, you'll see the pictures of us cruising around there, and my Snapchat, me hanging out inside there walking around. Michael, Jairek, I absolutely love your stuff. Can you spare 15 minutes of your time for me to interview you? Depends on what it's for. If you go to jarekrobbins.com/interview, there's a form there. If you fill that out, Michael, we can check it over, and as long as it's fit what we're up to, we can make that happen. Frank, but he's an excellent communicator. He's entertaining. People will eventually come to you if you are that good. So here's what's interesting. He wasn't always Frank. I have a very good friend who knew him from the beginning and has some old video that was very interesting. It's a developed skill because he's done it for 38 years, again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And here's what's crazy. Even today, he gets off stage. He certainly doesn't have to. He's an exceptional communicator and one of the best in the world at what he does. Even today, he gets off stage and instantly sits down and says, okay, what went great? What did I love? What needs to improve? And every single time, still to the day that he gets off stage, he always finds a way to make it better, and he makes it happen. Michael, can you message me with your contact info? JarekRobbins.com has everything you need. Vladimir, I finally found the guys who want to bring you to Kev. Of course, there's a lot of no's. They already emailed you. I haven't been checking my email, Vlad. Holly, our assistant's probably responded to them. And I'll be back on Sunday, I think, and I'll start diving in. So hopefully we're getting set up and everything's good. Thank you for that, Vlad. Ryan. See, this is why we needed the suit group. Jairek, you are the man. You're so welcome. Live from Abu Dhabi. Oh, yeah. Have a good night, brother. Thank you. Live from Dubai. Abu Dhabi, close enough, though. And that's what I'm doing now with the sewing skills. I'm learning every week something different, using my skills to sew. That's awesome. Great work. Love the insight and improvement. That's true. Bill. He said that's what he would surprise people most about him, his level of preparation. It's true. Bill, his level of preparation is uncanny. If you watch his new documentary that's coming out, I think it's called I Am Not Your Guru, and it should be coming out on Netflix in June or July. You'll see at least a sneak peek into the level of preparation that they do for Date with Destiny. It's remarkable. And that's only one event. He has multiple events going on every single month all around the globe constantly, and many other businesses, thousands of employees, stack it all together. It's remarkable the amount of preparation that he puts in everything he does. It's really, really, really insane. And it's inspiring. It's cool. Anyways, that is all for the night. What do you need to do to prep for your future? What skills do you need? How soon are you going to start on those 100 reps? How fast are you going to get those 100 reps in? Solid, true, real, putting in the effort reps, not half-assing it, not just putting in a quick little rep, but really, truly putting in the time, effort, and energy there. And when are you going to get started? It's up to you. If you found this interesting, entertaining, useful, please hit the share button. Tell someone why they should tune in. Sorry I look all tired and weird and have my hoodie on, but it is time for bed. So good night, y'all.